just for introduction, my name is Joaquim. I guess I'm gonna start off with a few basics. God-fearing man. I believe in my Lord and Savior is Jesus Christ. I believe things just don't happen for any type of reason. I believe that we are here for a purpose and to bring God's kingdom down to earth and spread it. So I know this is probably a change of pace from what you are used to dealing with. This is Instagram. We deal with a lot of other types of spirituality, but that's not what we're gonna talk about. We're gonna talk about God. We're gonna talk about the church, and talk about different things. About a college experience that I've been to. Right now, I'm 25 years old, so I had a good amount of college experience. I spent 7 years in college. But I haven't got my degree yet. But I believe in in God that you're gonna bring me out of that situation and bring me forth into a good situation. So things just certain things I'm still working on. But I'm here to talk about I guess my experiences growing up in a Christian household. Going to college as a Christian and dealing with temptations, dealing with sins, dealing with discipline and other things of that nature, backsliding, coming back into Christ. So yeah, that's just a little overview.
Yeah, bro, you did that better than me. It's my platform, you doing that better than me. But yeah, hey, what's up, everybody? I know I haven't really been doing interviews as of late because I've just been trying to figure out some stuff in my personal life. But now, I know I posted on my Instagram that I'll be doing, get back to doing interviews, but with a change, with a twist in it. And so basically, this is a new series that I'm starting called Fruitful Discussions. And so basically what that is, I'm just taking like some of my friends, my personal friends in my life, and I'm just taking them and interviewing them about some things that they see that may be problematic in today's world. And just interviewing them about situations that may be problematic, that they see as problematic, and that they feel like that needs to be fixed. So, like my friend Joaquim said, he's we met actually at work. We met at work. And, he wasn't there for long, but we just clicked like naturally. So we stayed in contact, and come to find out that this man went to my church, and I didn't even know it. From the youth. Wait, what was that? When did you go to that church?
So basically, we went to Crusaders Church. It was only for a little bit. I was like real young. This was back when I was about maybe 4. I was like 4 years old. I think we stopped going there by the time I was like 9, 10 years old. So it was really, I don't really remember too much about it. And then the times that I did go to church, I went to church and, so I wouldn't have, known too much. But yeah, we definitely went to the same church.
He moved away. He switched churches, and then it's coming to find out too that our parents. I told my parents because this is something I'm just finding out this year that he used to go to my church, and I'm like, wow. Like I had no idea that we went to the same church and we known each other for about 3 years now.
Yeah, 3 years pretty much. How long you been going to the church?
Since birth, really.
Since birth?
Yeah.
Dang, that's a surprise.
And I'm 23 now.
Man.
So, I've been there pretty much all my life, and but he was there, and then I realized that because I kind of knew that you were like a spiritual dude.
Yeah.
But like I never knew that you were like that deep. Like I didn't know the deepness of how deep you were into it. But until we came to find out that we went to the same church, right?
Definitely. Nah, definitely. But I wasn't like I said, I wasn't always that super deep. Like when I first met you, I was still I was definitely Christian into the word, but I was kind of more into that lukewarm stage, where I just go to church. I pray every here and there, pray when I get in the car, I pray, for the food and pretty much keep it at that, then like I think typically people that grew up Christian, they pray for their food and stuff, and for the basic stuff, but it hasn't been till recently until the pandemic that I rekindled that fire that I had for God, got closer to God, and I feel like a lot of people that God used this pandemic to bring His people back to Him. And not only bring people back to Him, but to use the people, to spread, the kingdom farther, to the rest of the world, because this is very much needed. The Bible says darkness will increase in the last days and the last hours. So it's that experience is definitely important, I would say. So
So this is the first time, like I said, this is my first time doing this series, but we just gonna trust and believe God to bring us through it.
Definitely.
And like my brother said, we talking about just being in college and just going through college and everything like that. And how some people, they're raised up in church and everything, they're raised up with those morals and the values. Then they go off to school, then they start getting into touch with what the world is doing, people are doing in college, like partying, drinking, smoking.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I seen it all. And it's it's one of those things, just one of those stages in life. You're young. You want to have fun. You want to experience that type of freedom. You want to kind of fit in. So that's really like a huge time where kind of I feel like a lot of people may backslide. Yeah. But God will allow us to backslide. He would never force us to follow Him. So, but it's always enough free will to worship Him in our own free will, not to force Him. Because I feel like that's the difference between God and the enemy. The enemy will force us to do things, but God will allow us to choose who to worship, choose who to serve.
Right.
So. And I think also at the same time it's important to understand that, and being that like with me being that I backslide, it's certain consequences I have to deal with, but I thank God that I'm back, I'm back and I'm launching forward into His word more than ever. So.
That's what's up. I appreciate you for that, man.
I'm not perfect, but I'm still trying to do this. I see we got some people joining the live.
Yeah, that's my mother.
Okay.
And let me see who is here. Pavon Valerie. Oh yeah, that's my mother.
Cool.
And hey mom, how you doing? Hey. So from there, I got my questions for you, Joaquim.
Okay.
And my first question is, what was the leading factor for you picking the college that you went to?
What's the leading factor? Okay, so
the main reason,
Okay, so it's a pretty decent long story. So I went to Hampton University. That's in Hampton, Virginia. It's a HBCU. One of the leading factors that led me to that decision was to study architecture and it's also being in the band, because I was in the band. I played the tuba, so I wanted to have that scholarship, and so I was looking. So at the time, I was in the band. I was in the band from the time I was 11 all the way up to the time I was 22. So
dang.
By the time 2014, 2015 rolled around, that's when I started having to narrow down my college decisions. And at the time, I wanted to study architecture, so I looked at all the other schools, all the other colleges, and their rankings and listings and stuff in that nature. And I looked at other different schools, like North Carolina, A&T, Jackson State, University of Arkansas, and Pine Bluff. But I think Hampton was one of the best choices at the time. I contacted the band director. He came up to my school. He auditioned me and gave me a good scholarship. So I think that was one of the main reasons why I chose to go to Hampton University. So that's
So would you say that your choice was based primarily off of the scholarship that they offered you, or was it do you feel like it was just the name of the school, or did that not have anything to do?
Actually, I would say it kind of had to do with, a little bit of both. The scholarship was definitely a big factor because, HBCUs aren't, they ain't cheap at all by any means necessary. Either it's like you gotta have a scholarship where you paying pretty much a good $40,000 a year.
Dang.
Yeah, $40,000 a year, and I met a lot of people at the school that's paying $40,000 each year out of pocket, a lot of debt.
Yeah.
But
I know.
But like you said, yeah, definitely because I was in the band, had scholarship, but also because of the name. Ranking, Hampton. It's a very prestigious school. It's a top 5 out of all the HBCUs each year. Good programs, accreditation, everything is like on point.
Right.
And, compared to the other options that I had, not to bash on any other schools, but there wasn't, in my, priorities, of things that I wanted to, do at the time. So.
Yeah. Wait, when did you leave? Because I know you're not really still there now. Yeah. But when did you leave?
When I leave, actually, I made that decision this year to leave.
Okay.
So I did 2 years. My first 2 years, I was in architecture. I did architecture for 2 years. I decided, in my second year that this wasn't the route that I wanted to go, so I chose a different major in engineering. And with engineering, I really, that's something I really, tried to nail down, but it was, something that kind of kicked my butt, in the end, unfortunately, but, I'm still, trying to, fight the battle and still trying to get this college degree. I started, college, I'm definitely want to, continue doing the college route, continue going to, college and, look for, different routes and different ways to, finish my degree. So that's, something, I'm keeping in mind.
Right,
well. Yeah. Sometimes, it changes needed, so I feel like, what I want to do right now, I'm, changing the route and just taking, a different path. Because it's easy to, kind of...
it's easy to get, right. Yeah, it's easy to get like stagnant and complacent, and then it's also really easy to just give up and throw in the towel.
Definitely.
So, was there ever a time? I mean, I know it had to be a time when you were going through school and you were just saying, "Man, I just want to like throw in the towel."
Yeah, it's man. Yeah. Because, like I said, the majors that I listed, architecture, they ain't no, walk in the park or nothing like that. We go literally like. All day, every day, all nighters at least 2 times, like out the week,
All nighters?
Yeah, like on average. Not to mention, I was, like I said, I was doing the band, so on average, I wasn't really going to bed till like 2 o'clock. Our first class is like 9 o'clock in the morning, so I'm really getting like a good 3.5, 4 hours of sleep each, night.
Right.
Just tired, just trying to, wing it through. So
yeah,
man, it's really, been like a tough couple of years for me, just trying to learn how to, discipline myself, learn how to work through, fatigue and all of that. Because, like, beforehand, like, high school, everything was easy.
Right.
Go to school, do homework, get good grades, and go to bed at, 10 o'clock.
Right. And then plus you living with your parents, too, so they, like, kind of taking, like, they accommodating for you.
Yeah.
In a way, like,
definitely.
Like, you don't really got to worry about no bills or... worry about how you gonna get from here to there, stuff like that.
Yeah, being away, that's it's a whole different story.
It's
totally different.
Yeah. So what kind of like the second question I got for you, bro, is what things did you see that were different to you when you came to college, and how did that have an effect on you?
What things that I see differently?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, I think. Like all the way up to that point, before I went away to school, I'll say I was pretty sheltered in. I was always an introvert, inside type of person. So I didn't really do too much beforehand before going to college. And I always looked at college, as a way to kind of experience, something new, experience life, to have fun.
Right.
I seen all the movies, of colleges and stuff like Drumline. See, I gotta get online and stomp the yard and
Oh yeah, I remember that show.
all of that. So
Yeah.
I'm there thinking like, this gonna be crazy and whatnot.
Right.
But some of the things that I didn't see growing up that I seen in college, first and foremost, I'm gonna be real. Y'all don't have to forgive me, but some of the things, I'm about to just say it is, the woman, it's a lot of, HBCUs got, a crazy female to male ratio, and I wasn't really used to, seeing all the women, and I told her they all, look beautiful, dress good, all up to standard. It's kind of like a fashion show type of deal.
Right.
You go into like an HBCU and stuff.
Right.
Everybody trying to look their best.
Right.
So I think that's one of the first things that I seen that I haven't seen growing up, because I went to Rich South High School in Richmond Park. If anybody knows about that, but yes, the woman is something that somebody said they fine.
Oh no, that's my mother.
Oh, I was about to say,
hey mom.
I was good, but that's one of the things. I wasn't really used to being around that many women. Another thing is just seeing, like the culture. It's some positives, and it's also some other temptations that come along with it. Like some of the positives is everybody is motivated. Everybody got like a mindset to push past their
limitations. Trying to get somewhere.
Trying to grow. Back home, in high school, we didn't see too many of that. Everybody complacent,
drifting,
drifting, kind of complacent. Where they at. But in college, in college, they were looking good. But in college, everybody got like a mindset to, be successful. Everybody kind of got like, businesses, entrepreneurship. They got goals, dreams, ambitions.
Right.
And, being around that, it only gonna, force.
Right, kind of push you.
Yeah, force me to grow, because I'm always been like a person, things came easy to me. Go to school, go home, go to practice, and, be comfortable doing that. So being in that environment, was, that was a huge, culture shock to me.
Right, yeah, I feel that. So the things that you seen, because we was we were talking earlier. He was talking about how there was a lot of parties. And people using substances and things like that.
Oh yeah.
So how was it with you dealing with that, encountering that coming across?
Okay, yeah. So being around that, I would say, because first 2 weekends, it's like party, it was like a party with the second week, and I'm like, what? Go to this party, I'm gonna break out my shell. On the way to the party,
I feel that.
It's like on the way to the party, walking with some of my friends and stuff. A lot of us, we just trying to chill and just trying to see what it's about. But the vast majority of everybody else is kind of, they go into the party, they got that drunk, got the liquor and stuff going on. A lot of them, kind of smoke, they call it, pregame. So that's what pretty much was going on. Everybody, kind of pregame, and, seeing everybody drunk and, kind of, not conscious, that was kind of a huge,
temptation.
Yeah, shock to me. I'm like, dang, okay. So this is what it's like, this is what it's like going to a party, Everybody just, drinking and getting lit and stuff, and in the culture, even inside the party, they're not just regular, smegular, just turn up, listen to music parties. No, this is like club type of environment.
Club environment.
Yeah, parties where it's a lot of dancing, a lot of stuff going on. Yeah. Try to keep it at the PG level, but a lot of close quarters action going on. A little bit of grinding and stuff going on. So.
Yeah.
And, at the time, first year of college, I'm kind of in the lukewarm stage. I went to church, grew up in church, but at the same time, I never, experienced, being outside of that. So, I wanted to get a piece of the action. So I did just that. And it's after that first party, every weekend, I was pretty much going to, parties every weekend just about. because I didn't want to miss. I kind of had like a fear of missing out, so I just wanted any chance, any party. I don't care if it was like, there weren't that many people going. I was going to the party. I wanted to, experience something.
Right.
That's what it was kind of, some of the difference. Like I was never really in my room. I was either like doing, schoolwork. If I wasn't doing schoolwork, I was pretty much, finding out what was the next move going on around campus.
But how did it get to be like that? Like, did you just go into college, just start partying and stuff like that? Or did you like gradually, was it like a phase or like, you...
I went to college and started partying. I ain't gonna lie. I wanted to just party. I wasn't no graduate. I just went into start partying.
Full time.
Yeah, full in. I'm like, man, with all these, like I said, all these women looking as fine as they is, best believe I was going to the parties. And that's what my mind was. That's what my mind was on. The parties and the women.
Yeah.
But yeah, though.
Yeah. So in doing that, like, wait. So how did you feel when you were going to those parties? Like, because you said you were raised in a faith-based household and things of that nature. Like, and like basically right from wrong.
Yeah.
And things like that. Like, did you ever have like a feeling like, oh, I don't belong here, or did it go away? Like, how was that for you?
Okay, so that's a good question. I mean, at first, because naturally I'm a shy, introverted type of person. So, like first time partying, I wasn't really doing too much. I was just trying to see, what everything was all about and things of that nature and stuff. But it's like as I continue to, keep going to parties and stuff, continue to see, the culture and stuff, I kind of, came serious to, the righteousness and started, getting more into, just having fun.
Yeah, you get it. Yeah.
Because it's like after a while, you keep on, going to parties, keep on, doing stuff. It's like you become serious, then
Yeah,
next thing
come numb to it.
Right, come numb to it. The next thing you find start finding other ways to have fun. I started, getting into drinking a little bit, going to the parties because partying alone wasn't really doing it for me. So I just started, drinking, getting drunk and stuff like that.
So you would say that like it went from one extreme. Well, I mean, I know from most people they don't think of as parties as being extreme, but for you, it was kind of because you weren't used to that, right?
Yeah, I wasn't used to that.
Yeah, so it's like you go from one extreme level or level that you're not really accustomed to another thing that you're not really accustomed to.
Right.
And then like you just kept going through that cycle?
Yeah, I just kept going through that cycle. It got to the point where, I started, a lot of my friends, they kind of stopped partying, and I'm just started going to parties pretty much by myself for the most part. And a lot of times, I was kind of, it got to the point where I'm, going out, trying to have fun, almost to the point where, I'm, missing the kind of, it's taking, my assignment's kind of taking the, backhand seat, and sometimes because I just had that, fear of, missing out. I just wanted to, have fun. So I think my discipline kind of, took a little bit of a backseat in a way.
So you would say that doing all those parties kind of took something away from you, like, yourself, because, would you say that you're like a naturally disciplined person by nature?
I would say I wouldn't exactly say that, but I know I have priorities to get done. I know that those priorities definitely needs to get done.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not the most organized person, but I know priorities is definitely
So
always been in my mind.
Yeah, so you would say that doing all that partying kind of made that worse in that area of discipline?
Yeah, because I think it's it kind of became like a distraction. I was kind of using, partying as a way to escape. And, more, first it started off as a way to, reward myself. Because it's like certain times, I would probably, miss a party every here and there if I didn't have my own work. But it got to the point where I just started just partying. Just to party because I wanted to, have as much fun whenever I can.
Right.
Because I feel like I never really, had that that much fun for real, growing up. So
yeah,
it started to kind of affect me in other ways.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah. So from that, what really made you after that, after going through all those parties and things like that? What really kind of made you in your mind say, okay, I need to really get myself straight and settle down? Like, what happened? Like, was there anything that happened, or was it like, did you just feel like God was calling you, or like, what happened with that?
So I guess it was. I mean, it was a certain type of incident that did happen because, it got to a point where I'm like just going to parties and just do it for me. So I started getting more into drinking. I think so. It was basically one night. I was pretty much going to a party by myself. Had a bottle of liquor, mm-hmm. and I ain't had nobody to keep me accountable that night. So I kind of drank I had like a huge bottle. It was like probably like this big, and by the time I was ready to go out, I drank the amount of liquor that was inside was pretty much at this level. So I was pretty I was pretty drunk that night. I went out for a little bit. Meant to go to a party. The party got canceled. Talked to some girls. Got their numbers and stuff like that. When I went back to my room.
What?
I vomited.
Oh, yeah.
I vomited all over the floor. I even vomited on some of my roommate's stuff. I don't think he knew about that, but I cleaned it up. I don't know nothing about it, but I ended up cleaning it up.
Yeah.
Then when I woke up, I had like the worst headache. Mm-hmm. I drank some water. I vomited that out.
Wow.
And I had to go to band. I had like a band performance to go to like later on throughout the day. So I think that's really what kind of made me say, all right, let me slow down with the drinking stuff. Let me kind of slow down with the partying stuff. And then, not to mention, I never really, texted that girl for the number. So it really was just a waste of time. And
mm-hmm.
I'm starting to realize, and that's when I started to realize, like, man, maybe I shouldn't really be, doing what I should be doing. I should probably slow it down.
So you kind of, like, at that point, you kind of saw how, like, everything that you were doing was kind of like a waste.
Yeah, pretty much just a waste of time. And it was kind of started, things just started becoming a little bit more detrimental,
mm-hmm.
To me, to get that drunk. I never really, it's like after I got that, on that type of level of drunk and that type of feeling that I felt, I didn't really want to have a desire to, get drunk again.
Yeah.
Like even now, like every here and there, I might drink a little bit, but I don't.
Right, not to the point where you could get drunk from it.
Right, I try to, now I just try to stay sober, drink every here and there,
Yeah.
Every once in a blue moon, pretty much now.
Mm.
But it was like at that point, that's when I pretty much was like, whoa, okay.
Yeah. Chill. It's like you hear that voice like, chill.
Pretty much a wake-up call.
Right, yeah. Yeah, that's important. So, like, what were the steps after that experience? Like, what steps did you take to get you back closer with God after that?
Okay, so to get me back closer with God.
Wait, did you come home or were you still at school at that point?
I was pretty much still at school at that point to get closer back to God, because it was like I didn't really get back closer with God until the pandemic happened.
Mm.
So up to that point, I was pretty much living like pretty much living lukewarm for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Like being a Christian, but not really going, through everything. Like
right.
I pray every here and there. I pray, for my food. I pray, before I, get in the car.
Yeah.
And get in somebody else's car, but I wasn't really,
Right, you didn't have a prayer life.
Yeah, like a consistent, real prayer life that I really,
mm-hmm.
was doing at that time.
Right.
Because I'm still kind of in that mindset. Like, all right, so I'm just not gonna drink. I'm not gonna really party as much, but I'm still gonna have fun every here and there. Like, slow it down, party every here and there.
Yeah, and that's the thing that people don't realize. They think that people who follow Christ, they think, they can't have fun.
Right.
But it's just the fact that, like, no, like that stuff. It's like you said, like it may be fun for a time, but after a while, it don't get fun. Like the fun dies.
It do.
Yeah, and then it's like it's even a scripture in the Bible where it says that because the Bible, I've been kind of like studying the scripture.
Right.
And it talks about how it's in the New Testament talking. I believe maybe in one of the Corinthians, but it's basically talking about Moses, and it said that Moses, after he came and realized who he was, because Moses, he grew up kind of like, he was the son of Pharaoh's daughter, right? Yeah, and he was living and everything. Like, he had pretty much everything. Like, the whole kingdom was pretty much at his hands because he was the son of Pharaoh.
Right.
And then, but once he started like getting that wake up call, he started having that realization. Like you were saying, you had that wake up call.
Yeah.
He realized who he was. And then from realizing, who he was, he said, it says in the Bible, it says he refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter. And then then it goes on to say that he, from that, from realizing, who he was, he just basically, he chose rather to suffer affliction with the people of God than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
and that's a huge thing. That takes a lot of courage to have everything.
Right.
And any young young person that even want got all the
right.
riches, the royals, got the status, everybody looking up to him, got all the woman that he would want to get,
right.
and to give that up. To be with God's people that's suffering affliction
right.
from the wrath of Pharaoh, that takes a lot of courage. That's not easy to do.
It do.
It'll be times like even like now, I'm 25. When I went to school, I was 18. I started back closer to God during the pandemic, which is about two years ago.
About 2-3 years ago.
2 years, a year and a half ago. Like, even when I went back to school, I even thought about like man, I was like, man, I'm not really doing something. I'm not really having as much fun like that. Those temptations don't ever really truly go away. It truly go away, but it's like,
but it's different.
It gets kind of better because like in the end,
it's not gonna fulfill me.
Right, it's not really fulfilling. It's the same thing as lust and sexual temptations. Like, it's one of those feelings that it may feel good in the moment, but you can never really truly satisfy. You gotta constantly once you get like one taste of it. Like, you gotta kind of constantly go back for more,
constantly chasing it.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing too, because it's like, as you keep constantly chasing it, that opens up the door to the devil, to demons.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now it's like they come and inhabit you, and they are what drive you to do those, like, those acts of like sexual, sexual immorality and things like that. So it's not even, it gets to the point where it's not even you who's getting the pleasure. It's those demons and those spirits who are getting the pleasure from it. So that's why you got to keep chasing it, because you're not getting the pleasure from it, but the demons inside of you are.
Right.
So it's like, after you, go ahead and do something that's supposed to, like, make you feel better or whatever, that is against God's word, and then you feel like, you do it, and then you may get a little something off of that, but as soon as it's done,
definitely,
you don't like, dang, like, I don't feel any different, I don't feel any better. As a matter of fact, I feel worse from it, because it wasn't you who got the pleasure.
Right.
It was those spirits, you feel me?
Definitely. It's definitely those spirits. And that was pretty much the reason why I went to the parties, to, fulfill those
get
lusts,
that feeling,
get that, release out in a way. And like, sexual sin that's the one sin that they tell us to run from.
Right.
It's different from every other sin, because it's against the body.
Right. You sin against yourself, because it even says in the book of Proverbs, it talks about, like, whoever commits adultery with the woman, and mind you, like Jesus said, if you even look at the woman with, sexually, that's committing adultery.
Definitely.
So it's like, it says that, like, who commits adultery with the woman destroys his own soul, like your soul. And we don't really talk about the soul, because I don't believe that people really understand what the soul is. But, your soul is your mind, your will, and emotions, right? So it's like, your mind, for one, you're destroying, like, bits and pieces of your mind. Because, like, it's like, you think, it's like the way that you, like, would naturally think, you see a woman and you just say, okay, she's nice looking. But then, you open up that door to that spirit, then it's saying like, oh, okay, like, this woman's nice looking. Let me go try to see if I could, get something from her, or let me see if I could try to like, try to feel on her or force myself onto her so I could get, what I want. You know what I mean? So it just destroys you in like a lot of ways, and your, your emotions. Like, like you already know about that, bro.
Right. Lust, lust is it's a selfish act,
right?
So to speak. So when you kind of get into a relationship based off of lust, it won't really end well, because one person is they doing it out of their own selfish reason to get their own release, and that's what we see with a lot of relationships.
Right.
Then when a person like for instance, a guy, he sees a woman and he started talking to her. So just not because of she likes the woman, but because he likes what he sees, likes her body, So we see like a lot of times, even like when I was like even in college, like I was seeing this a lot of times, like, man, she looking good. I'm about to go get some. so he'll come up to that woman, talk to her, spit game to her. Then once he gets what he wants out of her, just toss her to the side like she ain't nothing. The next thing you know, she broken down, like she broken down. She feeling all sorts of ways.
Right.
And now he just moving on like ain't nothing just happened. Like,
yeah, and that's the thing about lust. It's like lust. It just doesn't like when you act upon your lust. Like, okay, I want to say that because you just having a sexual desire. That's not lust. But like it's what you do with that sexual desire that turns it into lust. You understand? So like, of course, if I could see something, but I don't have to look at that. Like I could see a woman who's, doing a sexual act, and I could just be like, okay, like I'm noticing what she's doing is kind of like turning me on, right? I could just say, okay, I'm not going to look at it. That's just seeing. But if you look, because Jesus said, if you look at a woman with lustful intent, you already committed an adultery. So the thing is to look. So you could see something and then you could look at something. So when you looking, you like paying, like staring at it basically. You get me? Basically. So yeah. And like, like I was saying, that lust is twofold. So like it hurts you, and then it could hurt the other person who you were involved in the act with.
Right. So
that's why it's like, it's really like a detrimental thing, but it's so like gassed up in our society. Definitely. And that's just what it is.
You also see like a lot of times, the man kind of, because he's bigger, stronger, they'll force himself onto the woman just because he want to get his sexual desires out. She wouldn't even really want it, and then next thing you know, it's like she feeling some type of way. He, feeling, some type of way, and it's just a mess.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So basically, the question I had for that for you after all the questions I read.
Right.
So what things would I have done differently?
What things would I have done differently?
Yeah, if you could do it like all over again, like let's say you were 18, you say you went to college at 18, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like let's say like you go back to 18, knowing what you know now, what would you have done differently? Like what things would you have done differently?
Okay. Well, first and foremost, I just want to say this. I would say because of the things that I did and go through, it's what made me, the person that I am today. It's what made me willingly wanted to worship God. Mm-hmm. So I just want to put that out there. Like,
that's what I don't really have. That's the scripture too. It says that he who has been forgiven of much loves much. Definitely. Yeah. So like just you going through all of that makes you want to love God more.
Definitely.
Yeah. I just want to put that out there.
Because I don't want to be the type of person that looks back and just like, man, I should have just did this. I'm just take that past experience that I use and move forward in my life. Because I know.
Yeah. Good mindset.
Because I know like God is God is still with me. Through all the stuff that I've been through. But if I had to if I had to do something differently that I haven't done that I know now, I would say I'll probably say socialize more. Cause like I'm an introvert, which it kind of has like its ups and downs. Being introverted, you're not really being like I wasn't really influenced by as many people as I could have been had I been like extroverted. Cause I feel like, the culture with, college is, drinking, smoking weed every day, and just having people just having sex. So me being introverted, I say the good thing about that was, I wasn't really as influenced as everybody else was, but at the same time, I'll be in college. I'll shut down when I'm start going through things, and I wouldn't really tell nobody. I would just pretend, that everything is going good. While in the inside, I'll be depressed.
So can we talk about that a little bit? I mean, if you willing to.
Oh yeah. So basically, a lot of times, like I'll be, going through stuff. I'll be getting, bad grades, doing bad on the test, and a lot of times I'll be, because I'm naturally an introverted person, I wouldn't really let anybody, open up, or I'll be too prideful to kind of to ask for help. So I'll kind of, just shut down and
get down on yourself.
Get down on myself, start beating myself down more. So I think that's one of the big things, that I kind of, have to, get out of. And I'm still kind of going through that process of trying to, grow out of that stage. So if I did have to do anything different, is, just reach out for help, because, it's nothing wrong with,
asking for help.
Asking for help and, being needed. So that would be something, I would do different, and I still, trying to grow upon, doing, even now.
Right. That's like the key thing too, because we all like works in progress. You know what I mean?
Right. So the improvement never stops. To be 65, 70 years old, you still got something you want to improve on. So
right. And then lastly, because you said you plan on going back to school or getting back into school?
Definitely.
Yeah. So how will you go about doing school now, knowing what you know?
Knowing that what I know, well, first and foremost is, the discipline part. Because I know like my priorities, but the main thing that I didn't even focus on was, being, disciplined. I kind of rely mostly on motivation to get through these classes, and being.
So what did you mean? So what do you mean when you say motivation? Like self-motivation or motivation from other people?
Self-motivation, basically. Because motivation it comes and goes. So there'll be times where I wouldn't feel as motivated to get the job done. So a lot of times I'll, maybe sleep in, or maybe sometimes I'll just stay in bed, or maybe sometimes I'll relax. And next thing you know, tests come up, and I'll kind of bomb that. So, I know now, like going to school, going to college, is to have a set schedule, have a set time to study. Have even asking for help, like I said, trying to open up, ask for help, and let people know, what's going on, what's the type of situation that I'm dealing with. So
so basically kind of like having a routine.
Definitely having a routine. Like now I'm working. Now my job, I'm
about to take him to the eye doctor.
Okay.
All right, take it off.
Okay, you too. Thank you.
But like even now, like I'm getting more into that routine of, waking up early. I'm working at Amazon, which I gotta wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. My schedule is working 3 o'clock in the morning. So I'm basically working from 4:30 a.m. to 3 o'clock p.m. in the afternoon. So, I'm trying to, get to the mindset of, starting off my day early, So once I'm kind of done, with that type of schedule, I'll, kind of have a discipline to, start the day off early, whether it be working out, running, or, even studying and stuff. So, I take things, piece by piece, everything that, we do, everything we go through is a way to grow, is a way to, improve on. So, yeah.
And lastly, what advice would you give to other people who are young, who kind of like in your same situation where they grew up in church and everything like that? Their parents were really strong in their faith, and then they do go off to college, but they're seeing everything that's going on.
Definitely.
Yeah. What would your advice be for people like that?
My advice, I would say, I'm definitely gonna say, try to, stay in the word. Definitely get a good group of friends that, that's God fearing and stuff like that, because that's probably the biggest thing, like if you're around, the right people that's, checking up on you, making sure that you grounded, then, you can't really fall too much to temptation. But if you're not really surrounded by that, then, you don't go along with the crowd, you don't go along with the flow. I'm definitely gonna say, try to, stay in the word, try to, stay away from the sins. But it's ultimately it'll be, up to that person on what they, want to do. I can't force you to, do anything. It's on your own free will to, follow God. So that's what I pretty much, have to say about that.
Yeah, that's some good advice. And my advice, because I was thinking about, just some things on my side. Because me personally, I don't have a bachelor's yet.
Yeah, working on it. It's a work in progress.
Right. So, but the thing was, with me, I didn't go away to school. I went to a community college.
Right.
Because I went to be in high school, everybody was talking about like, oh, I'm going to this college, and I'm going to this university, like this university, and they were like big name schools and everything like that.
Right.
And I'm just thinking in my head like, well, I try to fit in that boat too, but I was more so forcing myself because of what they were saying. Mm-hmm. And then I ended up not going there. I'm kind of grateful now because I could kind of see why.
Right.
I'm not going to throw any names out there, but, I went to a community college around my house, and, I got my education in, I got my associate's degree. And basically from that, though, I feel like a lot of people, they just feel that they have to go to like a university. They have to go to some big name school to be, to land this, career. And then on top of that, if you're going to go to college, like, I would say, like, be intentional about it. Don't just go to, just to go. You know what I mean? Like, go to, like, with a set goal in mind, like, and make goals for yourself and everything. And then, and then it's okay, of course, to, to start off small, like, like I did, I'm not saying to do what I do, of course, but, to start off small, like, start off maybe going to a community college. There's no shame in that. Like, I remember people in my school, they always used to try to throw shame up, like, oh, you're going to this community college, like, that's lame, like, you dumb or something like that. But it's like the funny thing about that is too, the people who were saying that some of the people, they were talking about how, they were going to this, that university. They end up right back at that community college, bro.
Right.
I'm like, oh, what happened to you going to this university? They'd be like, oh, I didn't have the money for it. And then, like, that's the other thing, like, getting into debt, like, it's not worth it just so you could say that, oh, yeah, I went to this school.
Definitely.
And then you come out, you don't have, you barely passed or something like that. Like, no, you don't even have to, like, do that. You could, it's no shame in, staying home or staying nearby to go to school, you know what I mean? Because when you're away, that makes you want to be away. So you want to be away. So if you grew up in the faith and you're not really, or you are kind of like, you still have a heart for God, but you're not really into serving Him, or you're not really familiar with that, then yeah, you're gonna get away. You know what I mean? So don't even think about it as just getting away and escaping. Just think about it as, I'm doing what's best for my career and my future. So that's pretty much all I got to say.
No, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. Good advice. Everybody got their own path.
Right.
Social media, it's, it kind of, like nowadays, it's kind of, making us feel like, we left behind if you're not, accomplishing, certain goals at, a certain amount of time. So it's just, about knowing who you are, knowing what you want out of life, and, following, your own path, your own desires and stuff like that. And, that's something I'm, going through as, myself, figuring myself out as well. That's how just make some changes, make some changes to the school I'm going to and stuff like that. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. Other than that, did you have anything else you want to add, King?
I mean, shoot, it's my first time doing an interview. I ain't used to doing it. I ain't used to doing this, so hopefully,
you did good considering like you.
Hopefully, I ain't bore you guys out of nothing when I was talking. So that's all I gotta say.
Yeah, this is my first time doing an interview like this, where we kind of just went off the dome almost. So, yeah, but we thank everybody for watching. Oh yeah, did you have anything you want to shout out?
Any shout out? Shoot,
you could do your social media or anything you got going
on. I will
on.
say I don't really have social media, so I'll shout that out. I don't really do the social media thing like that. I mean, I got Facebook. My name is Joaquim Josiah Conklin. That's about it. So
okay.
I just keep it, Facebook, YouTube, and yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
Chill. I'm sure I'm a pretty chill person.
Right,
low-key. I'm a low-key type of person for the most part.
Oh yeah, because you had mentioned that like social media takes just a lot out of you, and it's kind of like a distraction.
Yeah, it depends on the intentions too. Like like with me, I felt like I was more so had social media just to be nosy in other people's business. And I wasn't really posting on my own social media stuff. Like I had an Instagram, I wasn't really posting on that. I had like one picture, and I was just watching everybody else's story, watching everybody else's life and stuff like that. So, and I started feeling inadequate, doing that. So that's kind of why I kind of took a backseat to social media in a way. And on top of that, can get a little addicting at times.
Right.
They make social media to be addicting because that's how they make their money. So
yeah, that's very true.
So it's just matter of your attentions and managing your time on it. So
do it all in moderation. And it's this one quote that goes you could use social media but don't let it use you.
Right.
So that's what and I was in that same boat. Me personally, I know y'all see me on here, but I'm not a social media person. I don't care about followers. I don't care about really any of that stuff. So when you see me doing this, this is something that I'm doing this because God really put this on my heart to do. And but I'm not really a social media person either. So yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say. But with that being said, that will be the end of our interview.
Okay.
Yeah, we thank everybody for watching. And I'll see you guys next time. And we live now. We live, baby. We live, baby. Live, baby. Yo. So we're just gonna give people some time to come in.
Okay.
And I can see everything from here. Let me see. Maybe bring it a little bit closer.
Definitely.
Yeah. Just move over a little bit. Yeah, that's good. You think that's good? That's good. That's cool.
A lot of glare in my glass. I might take it off a little bit.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Wait, let me see. Okay, there you go. Yeah, and then they could always go back and watch the replay. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Anybody hopping on yet? Anybody hopping on?
No, but
okay.
I know they probably will. Because they know I already do lives and stuff like that.
Right. Definitely.
Yeah. So, but anyways, I'm gonna get started. I'm gonna let you introduce yourself, bro.
Okay. Well, just for introduction, my name is Joaquim. I guess I'm gonna start off with a few basics. God-fearing man. I believe in my Lord and Savior is Jesus Christ. I believe things just don't happen for any type of reason. I believe that we are here for a purpose and to bring God's kingdom down to earth and spread it. So I know this is probably a change of pace from what you are used to dealing with. This is Instagram. We deal with a lot of other types of spirituality, but that's not what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about God. We're going to talk about the church and talk about different things. about a college experience that I've been to. Right now, I'm 25 years old, so I had a good amount of college experience. I spent 7 years in college. But I haven't got my degree yet. But I believe in in God that you're gonna bring me out of that situation and bring me forth into a good situation. So things I'm just certain things I'm still working on. But I'm here to talk about I guess my experiences growing up in a Christian household. Going to college as a Christian and dealing with temptations, dealing with sins, dealing with discipline and other things of that nature, backsliding, coming back into Christ. So yeah, that's just a little overview.
Yeah, bro, you did that better than me. It's my platform, you doing that better than me. But yeah, hey, what's up, everybody? I know I haven't really been doing interviews as of late because I've just been trying to figure out some stuff in my personal life. But now, I know I posted on my Instagram that I'll be doing, get back to doing interviews, but with a change, with a twist in it. And so basically, this is a new series that I'm starting called Fruitful Discussions. And so basically what that is, I'm just taking like some of my friends, my personal friends in my life, and I'm just taking them and interviewing them about some things that they see that may be problematic in today's world. And just interviewing them about situations that may be problematic, that they see as problematic, and that they feel like that needs to be fixed. So, like my friend Joaquim said, he's we met actually at work. We met at work. And he wasn't there for long, but we just clicked like naturally. So we stayed in contact, and coming to find out that this man went to my church, and I didn't even know it. From the youth. Wait, what was that? When did you go to that church?
So basically, we went to Crusaders Church. It was only for a little bit. I was like real young. This was back when I was about maybe 4. I was like 4 years old. I think we stopped going there by the time I was like 9, 10 years old. So it was really, I don't really remember too much about it. And then the times that I did go to church, I went to church and, so I wouldn't have, known too much. But yeah, we definitely went to the same church.
He moved away. He switched churches, and then it's coming to find out too that our parents. I told my parents because this is something I'm just finding out this year that he used to go to my church, and I'm like, wow. I had no idea that we went to the same church and we known each other for about 3 years now.
Yeah, 3 years pretty much. How long you been going to the church?
Since birth, really.
Since birth?
Yeah.
Dang, that's a surprise.
Yeah, and I'm 23 now.
Man.
So, but yeah, I've been there pretty much all my life, and but he was there, and then I realized that because I kind of knew that you were like a spiritual dude.
Yeah.
But I never knew that you were like that deep. I didn't know the deepness of how deep you were into it. But until we came to find out that we went to the same church, right?
Definitely. Nah, definitely. But I wasn't like I said, I wasn't always that super deep. Like when I first met you, I was still I was definitely Christian into the word, but I was kind of more into that lukewarm stage, where I just go to church, I pray every here and there, pray when I get in the car, I pray, for the food, and pretty much keep it at that. Then I think typically people that grew up Christian, they pray for their food and stuff, and for the basic stuff, but it hasn't been till recently until the pandemic that I rekindled that fire that I had for God, got closer to God, and I feel like a lot of people, that God used this pandemic to bring His people, back to Him, and not only bring His people back to Him, but to use the people, to spread, the kingdom further, to the rest of the world, because this is very much needed. The Bible says darkness will increase in the last days and the last hours. So it's that experience is definitely important, I would say. So yeah.
So this is the first time. Like I said, this is my first time doing this series, but we just gonna trust and believe God to bring us through it.
Definitely.
And like my brother said, we talking about just being in college and just going through college and everything like that. And you know how some people, they're raised up in church and everything, they're raised up with those morals and the values. Then they go off to school, then they start getting into touch with what the world is doing, people are doing in college, like partying, drinking, smoking.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I seen it all. And it's one of those things, just one of those stages in life. You're young. You want to have fun. You want to experience that type of freedom.
Mm-hmm.
You want to kind of fit in. So that's really like a huge time where kind of, I feel like a lot of people may backslide.
Yeah.
But God will allow us to backslide. He would never force us to follow Him. So, but it's always enough free will to worship Him in our own free will, not to force Him. Because I feel like that's the difference between God and the enemy. The enemy will force us to do things, but God will allow us to choose who to worship, choose who to serve.
Right.
So.
Yeah,
and I think also at the same time it's important to understand that, and being that like with me, being that I backslide, it's certain consequences I have to deal with, but I thank God that I'm back, I'm back and I'm watching forward into His word more than ever. So
yeah. That's what's up. I appreciate you for that, man.
I'm not perfect, but I'm still trying to do this,
Mm-hmm.
I see we got some people joining the live.
Yeah, that's my mother.
Okay.
And
yeah.
Let me see who is here. Hold on, Valerie. Oh